Super Bowl is here, so we got to strap in one more time this NFL season for our final takes. I'm going to dig into the projections, the ownership projections, the sim lineups, the optimal lineups, the betting markets. By in this video, guys, you'll know my final takes. I know where the must play. That's crushing it. I've been up since 6:30 today. Mother-in-law just got here to help out a little bit with the kid today before Alex returns. So we're crushing it here. But I was going to try to pull up this thing. Which is not even the same area. Let's look at the projections, though, here. I have to say the projections have not updated since Friday, so got to speed run through this one here. But, of course, we're going to try to find the data here one more time. I'm sure ETR is updated, so we'll see the solver sim lineups. We'll see stochastic sim lineups here. And, of course, today, sweat-free entries and underdogs. Make sure to check it out. $1,000 in bonus cash. Promo code SPLASH and underdog. Make sure to go take advantage of that Super Bowl special there. It's one of the best things they have to give yourself a no sweat entry on underdog. Of course, pick'em slips not available in Pennsylvania. One of the big jealousy points I have because I can't convert for pick'em slips as well, but also can't play them when there are no sweat entries like today. Basically, enter whatever pick'em you want. If you lose, you get back as a bonus credit. So check it out for yourself at underdog. Use promo code SPLASH and do that. And yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. Can't stop ejaculating. There we go. Thank you. I am new here. Appreciate all you guys being here. Appreciate the kind words from Steve as well. Been a long season for sure. We've got more work to do here. And of course, big board draft starting this week. Probably going to take tomorrow to recalibrate, but Thursday, I think I'm going to do this week. And it's going to be a regular cycle of big board drafts coming up now that we are kind of out of the crush of me being in solo dad duty as well as football season wrapping up and starting anew once all over again. But our top projected guys, again, going to look similar to what we saw on Friday because stochastic is not changing anything. Really no reason to. The Vegas total hasn't moved. You have KC favored by 1 point and a 48.5 implied point total. So, of course, that means KC 24.8 implied points. Philadelphia 23.8 implied points. Basically the exact same situation we've had. I think the total moved about a half point from Friday, but projections have no reason to move, so that is why. But still your top projected guy right now, the man, the thumbnail, Saquon Barkley, 22.4 fantasy points. As we talked about on Friday, the big thing for Saquon to keep in mind is that casual players will cram in a lot. You still be very well projected. That said, for a one-game slate, for a slate as well, unlike last week's games where you had to still play your traditional kind of DFS format with your RBs, your wide receivers, your tight ends, you don't have to play a running back if you don't want to at all. But you don't have to play Saquon in particular. You could take your shot at Kareem Hunt or Pacheco on the other side. Also take a bunch of receivers, defenses, kickers, QBs, whatever you want to do, tight ends. I'll name every position you can play in a showdown. The point is you can play other guys there. And if Saquon gives you 15 to 20 fantasy points, and other guys give you 12 to 15, 15 to same 15 to 20. Saquon will lose in those lineups. So he looks like one of the best plays in the slate. His market's out there is so crazy. You're talking about over 100-yard rushing line. So you're expecting him based on that to get you at least those 10 points plus your rushing bonus. So it's hard to imagine him like failing in terms of giving you single-digit work overall. But if things went askew, if he somehow got hurt, the weird things that happen, Saquon's going to be in a lot of lineups today, and he would not be winning. So just keep that in mind here. He's still one of your better plays in the slate, but at a $12,000 salary, there's more ramifications than just like, should I play Saquon today? Should I not? You're greatly affecting your lineups whether you play Saquon or whether you don't. Patrick Mahomes, 10K salary here for him. 22.1 fantasy points is the projection. For at this point with Patrick Mahomes, your main thing you're seeing projection-wise, he's your lever against Saquon to some extent. I don't think he's quite as good of a lever as the other QB in the slate, where if you go to Jalen Hurts, you're sort of expecting a different game script. You're expecting a guy who also directly pulls away from Saquon production if Jalen Hurts steals tush pushes, if Jalen Hurts steals passing production, if Jalen Hurts steals rushing touchdowns that aren't tush pushes, they all come away from Saquon. So I think there's a less direct lever for Mahomes than there is for Jalen Hurts, but still Mahomes projected pretty much right next to Saquon in terms of these projections on stochastic. So he's your most direct play in lieu of. We got Jalen Hurts. I appreciate you clarifying, Chase. Nice comment here, but I was feeling like feels kind of racist to call somebody just spaghetti. But I understand autocorrect and how it works. And I appreciate the sentiment, Chase, and you being a regular here. Biggest 1v1 of the slate is Hopkins or Philly D. I still think Hopkins gets a make-a-wish touchdown here. So I've said that on Friday enough times. Plus 650 touchdown odds is my fantasy points prop column as well, which I will link one more time here in the chat because, hey, we got to get these clicks one more time. Oh, we can. Hold on. Where is it? Where to go? Betting. Oh, they knock my ass so far down the homepage every time. It's honestly so funny. I love the fantasy points guys. Great sites who have done some freelance content for. But boy, oh boy, am I not a priority in promoting on their homepage. Check it out, though, if you want to see my prop bets. Talk about DeAndre Hopkins there at great length. Jalen Hurts at number 3, 18.7 fantasy points. We're talking about a 4 fantasy point difference between him and Saquon, about 3.5 between him and Mahomes. For Jalen Hurts in the spot, I think, as I mentioned, the big thing is that he's a lever against Saquon Barkley. Will be very highly owned. Jalen Hurts also naturally not coming up as much in your optimal lineups and your sim lineups. So that also means he's probably not as great of a play. Again, when you have that much fantasy points lower than 2 other guys on the slate, you're not going to come up quite as often. But Jalen Hurts, I hate the DVP stuff, as we talked about enough on the show. A couple of years ago in the Super Bowl, he had one of the best games he had in his career against a very similar Chiefs team. I would say arguably a better Chiefs defense overall. Now you have Jalen Hurts in a situation where last week talked about getting the straight jacket taken off. So they finally let him pass a little bit more. He also ran for 3 touchdowns in that game. I think for Jalen Hurts, he just screams out to me here as a guy who gives you a lot of reason for DFS to play, for the game theory of football to play. When everybody expects you to run, you pass, you get some results there. That's it for a single game slate. So for Jalen Hurts, to me, he's a priority for everything I'll be doing, I'm sure. And I'll be getting a lot of him today at that 18.7 projection and the 10-4 salary. Travis Kelce. So weeks of him saying, I'm going to be back next year. I'm going to be back next year. All of a sudden, Travis Kelce's future uncertain today. I think it's setting up for him to do some dramatic bullshit here. People might spend some more narratives off of like, hey, what if this is Travis Kelce's last game? Maybe they feed him some more targets. Maybe they do. Maybe they win the 3rd Super Bowl in a row, and that makes him change his equation a little bit and not want to come back. I don't really know, but I think Travis Kelce, no matter what, a good play to 17.2 projection, 9K salary, had the down game last week. Maybe people who are watching box scores. As many people who are going to be playing Super Bowl lineups today, we're just going to be clicking names going, how'd this guy do last week? Oh, not good. Maybe I won't play him as much. I think Kelce still gets played a lot naturally because of the projection and the fact that sharper players know that he's one of the stalwarts of this playoff KC offense. But overall for Kelce, I think that he's probably going to be appropriately owned, appropriately priced. I'll take the shot here to 17.2 projection and a 9K salary for a player who I think should be a key part of things. And whether you want to give him a narrative or not, I think he still gets targeted fairly well and used fairly well. But retire to chase the faint hope of putting his loins in his wife's meat wallet. Jesus Christ. Come on. I'm sure it's more than once every 2 months. But they are on the road a lot, so maybe that would be the reason why. But the thing is, like, for him, he can retire. He's made enough money. Frankly, that's part of why I didn't love him that much in best ball this year, is that he's doing so many things off the field at this point that your football motivation wanes a little bit. Your focus on keeping yourself at the prime of your position, like he needs to do at his age, certainly is there. But I would say for Travis Kelce, I think he's a good play overall, even though I think some portion of the field will fade him because he didn't play well last week because it is a Super Bowl. And keep in mind, a lot of casual lineups in that tournament today. A.J. Brown gets man defense here facing the Chiefs about a third of the time, and it's going to help him out a lot here. We talk about the A.J. Brown man splits enough, but one more time for the year, averaging 4.6 yards per out run versus man. I almost know them off the top of my head now. 39% target per out run, 0.7 EPA per target, 14% touchdown rate. Compared to zone defense, A.J. Brown gets targeted 24% of the time, 2.5 yards per out run, 0.3 EPA. He's basically about half the player versus zone as he is versus man defense. And as opposed to the rest of the Eagles team that is basically the same player, if not a little bit worse versus man, A.J. Brown, when they put one guy on him, he's going to probably beat him. So A.J. Brown, I think, makes a lineup today. I would say that my belief that he makes it in the flex, a little bit less high that he makes it as captain, but I'll be playing him at both. A.J. Brown to me is one of my preferred plays in the slate. I think it is $9,600 salary. Obviously, going to be hard to pay all these guys. I think especially if you're fading Saquon in a lineup, playing Hurts, playing A.J. Brown looks better for sure. Xavier Worthy, Dallas Goedert, your next tier of guys here. Devontae Smith a little bit further behind. Worthy himself, I think, is one play today that I'll probably play a little bit less of than the field. They're going to be at there about half the lineups, which is what the ownership projection was the other day. I assume it's going to be the same right now. Worthy, look, has played really well, as I've talked about. He kind of has won me over during this back half of the season where I really wasn't impressed with him coming out of Texas. Certainly wasn't impressed with him the first half of the year where he showed absolutely nothing. Back half of the year feels like he kind of stabilized his role as other guys were moving in, moving out. Other pieces they try to get going, like Hollywood Brown. There are ways to get leverage against Worthy on the slate. It's a big reason why I think I would like to come under on him. Despite him playing so well recently, in particular, I thought the Buffalo game, he said in advance he's going to go out there, try to get revenge on them for not drafting him. He went out there, he put his dick down. Like in reality, the shit like that does matter a little bit for me in terms of, like, the guy said he's going to do something, he did it, much like it kind of does in regular life. But I think for Xavier Worthy, being with the field on him feels about right. I don't feel like he's a flat fade by any stretch. He's played so well. I think you need to get some exposure. But I would say for Worthy, like, people might be point chasing a little bit more here, especially casuals. When they see Xavier Worthy having a good playoff run, you see Travis Kelce getting like no targets last week. That sort of makes you want to be more balanced in your ownership there. But I think Worthy's been great. I just think for this slate, trying to get just flat with the field on him, get him in your 40% of lineups, get him in your 50%, move away from him in others, move away from him in sort of your high leverage spots, your single entry spots, I think is what I would try to do today. Keep hearing Juju steamed up, but I think you said it's a bad matchup. If not you, I didn't say that. I really could not care less about the matchup too much. Like the AJ Brown splits will always matter a little bit if a team plays man defense, more than a quarter of the time. But besides that, like, no, like I really actively said this week, like, don't worry about matchup stuff on video. So it would not be me. Seems like a Justin Watson 251 spot, certainly possible. That'll get you low owned. And I got Chunk here at the member chat. Appreciate everything you've done for the community this year. Excited to see the keep about the ball rolling next season. Thank you. I should probably learn to read at some point. Pray underdog pays to go. Yes, hopefully I will bother them more this week because I know they're busy with the Super Bowl stuff, but hopefully we'll figure out what my deal is. I mean, we have to figure it out in the next couple of weeks. So we'll know soon what my haul is for 2025 and the workload here on the channel. Dallas Goedert, big playoff run for him, has been your top receiver overall and in the NFL for the last 2 rounds of the playoffs. You want to chase it, you can. I think Dallas Goedert gets chased a decent amount. He's played well enough. He's been targeted similar to Devontae Smith, but I would say to me, Goddard and Devontae Smith, similar plays, and I'd rather take shots at a low-round guy in Devontae Smith, even with his injuries and whatever. He's going to be playing. So I would really take your risk on Devontae Smith here. Wouldn't worry about the hamstring stuff quite as much. It's going to make other people worry. You're better off on a large slate like this, your final game of the year, to play more Devontae Smith than not. I think to play more Devontae Smith than Goddard as well. Very brave take here. Kelsey looks good at captain. I think that's fair. I think he'll be probably 10% owned or so at captain would be my guess. But yes, I agree. He's a worthwhile captain. It's the Super Bowl. Anybody, you could literally name any name for the most part, besides probably your DeAndre Hopkins, your Hollywood Brown. Even I think people will play at captain. Anybody's going to be a name you could say it looks okay at captain. So I don't want to really be like totally full nihilist about the showdown, but like really for Super Bowl, if you have a lean, you probably shouldn't. That's the way I feel about it. Your lean should be based upon like, everybody's going to play this guy. I should play this guy to try to get leverage on this guy. Like that's what the lean should be, I think, overall for a single game showdown. What's the largest slate of the year with the most casual players on the year. Hollywood Brown, decent projection on him. He's going to come up a lot. We know that. Nothing else to note here. Defenses, about 6 fantasy points each. These guys won't get played very much. Kickers will get played more than defenses, so the defenses kind of gain in value as a result. Even though we don't expect a defense to get there, playing a defense alone will decrease your ownership product in a lineup. And again, as we're talking about here, like everybody's going to want to play every single player for varying reasons. They'll hear Juju Smith-Schuster had a bad match. They'll hear, but from somebody else out there, Juju Smith-Schuster has a great matchup. That's how the nature of this content goes. But in reality, for you guys out there, just like what are the overall things that everybody's going to believe? Saquon making a lineup, Patrick Mahomes making a lineup. How do you get leverage on those concepts? Would be the things I would try to dwell on more so. The defense is basically, though, just won't get played. So if they make a lineup, like you're going to get off the beaten path pretty well. What else do we have here? Juju Smith-Schuster, a 3.8 projection. Hopkins, a 3.4. These guys, very similar plays, competing for the same opportunity. Hopkins is a much better end zone role / red zone role, so I would lean on that. As I've mentioned enough times here, I think Hopkins gets a touchdown. At the very least, I think he gets a couple catches, but bet the catches, I would say, but that's it. And that's it really to note here. Values, not a lot of great values on the slate. Peyton Hendershot's the only one that comes close here, as we saw on Friday. But Samaje Perine, Patrick Mahomes, Hendershot, Goddard, Kelsey, your top values. Perine only gets there, I would think, in a build where I guess they can do something creative, but most likely gets there in a build where Philly pulls safely ahead. So Perine, to me, not really the play in general, but people won't play him very much. Think very hard about fading Saquon in higher stakes. It's going to be a ballsy move, but I think for a showdown, certainly you can take your risk. Higher stakes people, I would think, will probably cram Saquon a lot more, as Nolan's pointing out. You got to keep in mind that higher stakes stuff, though, is very like chalk-minded. So you win it all if you get it right. You lose it all, though, if you get it wrong. And it depends how high stakes you're talking to. Like you're talking about the red zone or something, or the spy, play it there. Everything else, not so much. We'll look at that later. I don't have it off the top of my head. We got Patrick Mahomes here, same ownership as Friday, 69% projected ownership, 17% in captain. If I had to guess, we talked about on Friday, the Saquon ownership is going to be higher, but we've kind of dwelled on this already. I'll repeat it again for the Sunday crew, though. Mahomes basically comes in really well projected in every lineup. We're going to see with ETR data in a moment as well. He pops in really naturally. People love playoff Mahomes, all of that. Saquon looks a little bit under-owned in stochastics projections. I would guess these guys come out closer. If I had to guess, Saquon comes in 15 to 20% owned. Mahomes about 15 to 18% owned would be my expectation. But I think Saquon is going to be a faint shot of getting 25%, but he's probably more like a 20% owned play is how I would try to file him away. Just don't agree with that. Yeah, Saquon's Barkley. You got to think hard. That's the reason you got to think hard about it. I know it's dumb, but taking a few shots on Nico could see. No, that's not. No, no. If you know it's dumb, if you're doing a mini max, look, it's your money. Do whatever you want. If you're doing anything serious, don't play fucking Nico Remigio. Nico Remigio couldn't get there when they had no receivers left. Why would this be the day that he does it? And honestly, a guy at $200 could score a touchdown. It might not even matter. I know I'm saying for Hopkins, it's the reason to play him, but that's the reason to play a guy like Hopkins who actually has something of a floor and ceiling. That's not, no. No, it's a really bad take. Sorry, Kevin. That's a really bad take. Yeah, Saquon's been playing hard, playing well, and they've been blocking really well for him. But it's his birthday today, so that's the part that puts it over the top. But yes, really, you guys are. It's the Super Bowl. I get it. We're getting out all the takes that have been balled up all year long, but you still want to play fundamentally sound DFS for the most part. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, lesser owned than Mahomes. I think Hurts, to me, feels really under-owned here. It's to the point where I really wonder if Hurts will actually be this low-owned. He doesn't come up naturally in the projections sets from ETR and Stochastic. He doesn't come up naturally in the Sims either. So I think for Hurts, I do think there's a good shot that this ownership actually is correct at 54% overall and 8% in captain. Travis Kelce, 47% overall, 11% in captain. Again, you're not really sneaking Kelce in at captain. You're not doing anything too unique there. He'll be played an appropriate amount. Worthy about the same, 45% overall, 12% in captain. They haven't been higher owned than Kelce. I think it could go either way here. These guys are both going to be in that 10 to 15% owned range. At captain would be my guess. Dallas Goedert, I think the point chasers get there a little bit more, but this ownership feels about right. 40% overall, 7% in captain. AJ Brown, 39% and 11% in captain. People like AJ Brown enough. I could see them taking that shot. Your lower owned captain plays to maybe get that upside, I feel like, are Goddard, Hollywood Brown. Don't like Hollywood Brown, but he projects so well. If you play him at captain, it's probably a way to get unique. For a lot of people that are going to be cramming him in the flex because of how well he projects. Devontae Smith, he has a 2-touchdown game in him. The injury does spook you a little bit, but you're getting a lot of leverage here. You're kind of getting basically going to Devontae Smith is your second level of levers against things where the field's going to play a lot of Saquon. So your lever against that is to play Jalen Hurts. I guess also field's going to play a lot of Saquon and Patrick Mahomes. So then you play Jalen Hurts to kind of get away from that. And you're getting leverage on the other QB theoretically, and also the RB. And then people are going to play Jalen Hurts with AJ Brown. So then your leverage on those guys would be playing Jalen Hurts with Devontae Smith, I believe. So that's where Devontae Smith, I think, is the most utility. I think he's worth playing a captain at 6% owned. He's still a legit player who has big upside. I think that's really all for Devontae Smith. Don't worry about the injury here. It's a one-game slate. You're probably going to lose the money anyway, is how I'd feel if you don't play Devontae Smith. Harrison Butker, I think a compelling captain play here in a game script when nobody's playing defenses. People expecting kind of a shootout game based on the projection. So Harrison Butker, 26% overall feels appropriate, 1% in captain. I think getting him to 3 to 5 wouldn't be crazy. Jake Elliott is your Butker leverage here. About 23% ownership for him, 2% in captain. Defense is projected to be about 20% for the Eagles, 18% for the Chiefs. I think that's about right. Might be a little bit lower here. Again, defense is undervalued because people don't expect that to be the kind of build that happens today or the kind of game script that happens today. And your lower owned guys, Juju under 15%, Noah Gray under 15, Samaje Perine under 12, Pacheco at 11, Hopkins at 6, Calcaterra at 4, Watson at 3, Dotson at 3, Gainwell at 2. If you get a Saquon injury in game, probably the same equivalent of playing a backup QB at this point. But Gainwell's got a little more, potential to score a touchdown in different situations. Saquon being tired after a long run kind of thing. Nico Remigio, Johnny Wilson would not touch these guys in a million years. Peyton Hendershot, I also probably wouldn't touch, but at least he's got a projection on him. Really nobody down here you want to play too much. All right. The solver part of our journey coming up next. Let's log in here. Let's see what ETR data thinks of things. Maybe we actually got an update too over the weekend. Who knows? Who knows? And there's really no reason for these guys to update projections, but you just want to have something new to talk about is really how I feel about it. All right. Looks like ETR has also not updated since Friday. So same thing we talked about there, but we'll run the data one more time. Your top captain owned plays. We got Saquon Barkley, 17.2% ownership of captain is ETR's projection. Jalen Hurts, 11.3. Patrick Mahomes, 15.7 or 15.9, excuse me. AJ Brown, 9%. Kelce, 9%. So basically they have a little more concentrated ownership for Saquon and I guess less for Mahomes, but basically saying what I just thought it would be, 15 to 20% for Mahomes and Saquon. And everything else lesser owned. Your key guys here, your A.J. Brown, your Kelsey, your Worthy, closer to 10%. Everybody else about 5 or change. So really kind of obvious here who the low and captain plays are. D-Hop, Devontae Smith, Juju go off today. Really hard for Hopkins and Juju to both go off. But if they all did, that would certainly win you everything based on how the ownership looks. Your projections right now, Saquon, top projected guy for ETR. Jalen Hurts, number two. Actually, why did it not? All right, Patrick Mahomes, number 1. Saquon, number 2. Jalen Hurts, number 3. Worthy, number 4. Kelsey, number 5. So similar outlay to what we saw in Stochastic in terms of the order of things, but a little bit different. And let's go back to our default settings here. I will say today I will be doing my the thing that I built in Replit, which is your AI tool that can build stuff for you if you want to play with building products and stuff. Be mindful, though, AI is not a perfect thing and not as smart as an actual developer would be. But for that stuff, I am going to be kind of pulling in the solver sims today. I mean, I'm not kind. I'm going to be actually doing this. Be pulling in solver sims today, pulling in stochastic sims today, and taking the overlap between the two that ranks the best in ROI. So that's going to be my approach for today's slate. We'll see how it does. But there's lots of ways to do it. If you want to get unique on a slate like this, I would still say, Kevin, Nico Remigio, you better be willing to lose that money. That's what you want to do. AI is an overcoded toddler. I like the tools. You just can't trust that it got the work correct on the first try. You have to double check everything, which frankly you have to do for real developers too. I know someone that's had 2 startups, one of which got acquired for money, one of which I had to fucking eat the losses on. But I would say that yes, AI, like if you're going to use a Replit or some of the other ones out there, you better be sure to keep an eye on it and double check your work. And if you do that, you'll get good work out of it. If you don't, though, the AI is going to be like the most half-assed fucking get them outside of Home Depot equivalent of an AI coder for you. Your cash game lineup, though, if you're going to play a cash game at 9:20 a.m. here on Super Bowl Sunday, would be this one. Mahomes super stack. You got Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelsey, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. Do I have variance on? Yeah, I have variance on. Okay. That's not it. It's going to be this one. All right, so still Hurts in a cash game lineup. I was surprised. I thought that was why the variance was on. But it's Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Xavier Worthy, Dallas Goedert, Hollywood Brown, Harrison Butker. So less of a Mahomes super stack, still a well-stacked Mahomes lineup here. But basically, your cash game builds, your core assumption that the projections are going to give you here. And it's really important to note this. Like I try to make it a key point here, and I think sometimes I'm probably doing a good enough job of it. The reason I do this part of this and run the optimal lineups is because like what the optimal projections tell you is basically what everybody's going to play naturally, like what they're going to get forced to, even if they don't realize it. If they're running any sort of projection set, they're going to get dominant KC builds. They're going to get Mahomes stacks. They're going to get Mahomes at captain. So that's really the big thing to keep in mind here. You're still going to get Saquon because casual players are going to force him in a good amount. But the big thing with the cash game lineups is like Mahomes is a captain in these top 25, and over half of them, 56% of these top 25 lineups have Mahomes at captain. 44% of them have him in the flex. And Mahomes is your 100% guy. And if you know from watching these Showdown videos all year, if you have a guy that's in 100% of those optimal lineups, you take him out of those lineups here because he's like your presumed best play. You take him out of lineups, you're going to get away from so much of the field. So if you find a way to play Chiefs today without Mahomes, you're going to get unique. It's really hard to expect Patrick Mahomes to not make a winning lineup, given the fact it's Patrick Mahomes, the greatest QB of this generation right now, who also shows up in big games more than many other QBs do. And the entire offense, flows through him a bit more. But let's say, as I've said on Friday, let's say Kareem Hunt gets that early touchdown. Let's say field goal city, Harrison Butker gets a lot of scoring on his side of things. The ways that Mahomes doesn't get there is one of the most important things. I think the ways that Saquon doesn't get there is also important as well. And I would say kind of equally important with how much I expect him to get played. Mahomes is really the one that's going to get in every lineup naturally. So you're getting a lot of Mahomes. Saquon, which is the issue, is like, so Saquon in these lineups comes up 44% of the time, only in the flex. So like Saquon is probably a little bit under projected in an optimal lineup situation, which normally mean he'd be a good tournament play. The issue is that like when people are building lineups, they're going to go, wait a minute, I don't have Saquon, and they're going to jam him in. So what you're going to get is like Mahomes stacks with Saquon to be my guess is going to be a pretty key part of what the lineups are today. So as a result, trying to get leverage on one of those parts, trying to get leverage on both those parts, I think is the focus. We have Mahomes in every lineup, Jalen Hurts in almost every lineup here. So 2 QB lineups being very in vogue with the ETR projection set. Hollywood Brown in 80% of lineups, including 4% in captain. He's going to come up a lot here. We saw it on Friday. We'll see it again in a moment. Xavier Worthy, 80% overall. So he's coming in everywhere. You're getting less Kelsey in your kind of easily projected lineups. Getting less A.J. Brown, getting no Devontae Smith, a little bit of Hendershot, a little bit of Johnny Wilson, which is kind of crazy because those guys really unlikely to do much today. A little bit of Butker, not a lot. More Jake Elliott than Butker, which kind of surprises me with ETR data. Those are your key observations. Again, same thing as Friday here. About all 95% of lineups have at least 3 Chiefs in it. So if you were to play an Eagles onslaught build, you're almost definitely getting off the beaten path in a meaningful way. If you're to play an Eagles 4-2 build, you're probably also getting off the beaten path a little bit more. So Chiefs dominant build is going to be in play a lot. The price tags work better relative to projections. And if you get that right and those guys don't excel or don't even hit their median outcome, that's probably how you win the slate. And if you don't, and if it goes the way it's expected, it's like probably a lesser owned captain. So maybe that's where if you're playing chalky Chief shit and you put in Nico Remigio, I don't think he's a good play, but as an example, if he were to hit somehow and he pulls from Worthy, I'd say it's more likely like a Justin Watson, a Hopkins, a Juju hits, and they pull from those guys. But basically, like that's sort of it. It's like if you're going to play the Chiefs, play them uniquely. Don't play Worthy with fucking Kelsey, with Saquon. If you can play that, like don't play that because that's going to be really obvious. You got to do something unique through that prism. Let's build 250 lineups here one more time. And let's pull in my Showdown boost. So we'll give correlation boost here. We'll put in 2 uniques per lineup. You know what? Actually, for this one, because we're only going to run 250, let's go 3 uniques. Let's see. Let's get weird with it. Let's see what we get in our top 250 here. Guys, our last Final Takes video of the year. You know, I was really debating if I should write out the string with the Final Takes video, but if you guys are watching live, it would mean a lot. Subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Of course, these videos have gone on all DFS season long, and now the Splash Play channel transitions to more of a best ball channel, focus on the prep for the following season coming up here. So we'll be in some big board drafts this week on the channel, most likely starting Tuesday. And also, again, going to be doing that the rest of the year, basically heading into Best Ball Mania, heading into all the other tournaments all summer long. So join on board here. Of course, Splash Play. Now more channels are doing it, but I think Splash Play is really the first channel to start going year long and not take a break. But, you know, hey, now when you do something well, everybody else starts to do it, and you have to find something else new to do that makes it even better. So that's what we're going to try to figure out for 2025. But check out the solver if you wanted to use the process, the tools I'm using here on stream today. I'd use that promo code SPLASH down below, or link in the description as well at the solver to get no money off, but to attribute it to the show. Unabated, which I'll show you guys in a moment, $30 off the promo code SPLASH. Want to get some good bets here? The guy was looking for underdog pick'ems. You're much better off using Unabated's data every single day for stuff like underdog pick'ems, your regular betting as well in sportsbooks. Check it out, unabated.com. Link in the description as well to check that out. And of course, Stochastic, which you'll see more of in a moment with the Sims tools, get 15% off the promo code SPLASH at Stochastic. And of course, that is a great site, and all the data and tools on there are 15% off. Check the link in the description, and it does support the show directly. All the stuff supports the show directly and allows me to keep doing this here every day. And of course, Underdog, once again, the no sweat bet's coming up today. If you bet a pick'em slip today on Underdog, bet your highers and your lowers on there, you'll be given back a bonus credit if you do lose that one. So take a big shot, shoot for the moon on Underdog today, and get your money back, and use promo code SPLASH if you want to take advantage of that no sweat thing today for that $1,000 bonus. I think it's hard to not take one in lineup today. That's the thing, is it's hard for people not to play it. Functionally, it's not hard to have them in a lineup with a 12K salary. So no, it's hard. It's hard for you mentally. Things that make you uncomfortable, make other DFS players uncomfortable. That's the whole point of DFS. Casey hasn't given up a 100-yard rusher all year. Could Barkley be faded if he gets 100 yards in a TD? If he gets 100 yards in a TD, he probably made the lineup. So no. How do we feel about position MVP bets? Everyone's betting the over, and no. Quarterback, maybe a faint chance of Saquon, but it's usually quarterback. Every MVP is almost always quarterback. Has to have something really weird to happen for it not to be quarterback. We can look at the lines, though. We'll look at the unabated tool, look at every market. But an unconventional MVP to me would be like Saquon, A.J. Brown. I would not go linebacker, cornerback. I honestly don't even know when the last time that's hit. Do things that make you uncomfortable are core to success in DFS and the bedroom? Sure. I don't know about in the bedroom. Some people are just easy outs. Some people aren't. That's how I feel about the bedroom part. But yes, the DFS, that's really like one of the most important things of DFS is like, if you can't imagine not playing a guy, everybody else in the field can't imagine not playing that guy. And that's the biggest power you have as a player. But the most important thing to keep in mind as a player as well. And then similarly, if you think a guy has a 100% chance of success, then you should probably play him 100% of the time. Nobody does have a 100% chance of success, but if you did think that, what's that? Yeah, that's how that works. That's how football goes. People always pick off Patrick Mahomes twice at a game and return him for touchdowns, especially the white cornerback. Joking for all the people that go, oh my God, you can't be racist against white people. Shut up. But yeah, I don't think the white quarterbacks get. I don't think any quarterback's getting 2 pick sixes. I don't think Quinion Mitchell's getting 2 pick sixes either, for the record. Somebody out there was like, Cooper DeJean, don't discriminate against Cooper DeJean. DEI Cooper DeJean. All right, let's sim this out here. Let's do it in the Millie Maker. Today, ETR has all the lineups in, which they do for showdowns. They build for the big tournament. So 295,000 entries. We'll see how these beautiful 250s do here with our 3 uniques. And we'll get a read on things with ETR data. Oh, he'd be a hero. He'd be a hero. Except that he kind of talks. He talks wiggery. I don't know if we're supposed to say wiggery anymore, but he talks like he's fucking Jamie Kennedy and Malibu's Most Wanted. So, I don't know if they would fully claim him, to be honest. I hope we all win a milli today. I hope so too. And if you're all going to play Saquon, then you're all going to win a milli. All right. Their top lineups right now. So this has moved a little bit. Though it is the bigger tournament, so that might be why on Friday we had so much more of a Mahomes dominant build. But now you're seeing ETR do what it should do. So you're getting Mahomes leverage here with these top lineups, including this number 1 lineup. Jalen Hurts, Kareem Hunt, Harrison Butker. So that's it. You're seeing exactly what I spelled out. They're fading the Chiefs pass game entirely. This is it. Jalen Hurts, Kareem Hunt, Harrison Butker, Eagles, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So you're playing a lesser-owned pass game piece. You're playing the Eagles pass game, fading Saquon, fading Mahomes. That's what wins it. Like, people don't want to hear it, but that's what wins you tournaments. When you get this right, is what wins it all. And it also will lose you money a lot. You can see here, this one loses, finishes in the 99th percentile 4% of the time, the 100th percentile 7% of the time. It loses a lot. But when it wins you all the money. So that's the tough part of a showdown here. But Jalen Hurts again, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Hopkins. This is fucking exact lineup I would play. Jahan Dotson's a little bit tough. Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Saquon Barkley. There we go. Shout out Best Ball on Call here. Appreciate it. Well, you know what? Fine. Yeah, I don't think you've been a member before, have you? Welcome to the family. Best Ball on Call. Of course, join the VIP Discord. If you are a member here, by the way, I've got to stop doing the bit voice, I think. But please sync your YouTube to your Discord. If you're a member here, join the VIP Discord. It gets added automatically to your Discord. All you have to do is link your YouTube account to your Discord. So check it out. Be in there and check it out for yourself here. But that's the biggest advantage right now. Basically, in the new year, there's probably be a second tier if you want to get rankings and shit for me and other things, I think. But right now, $5 tier. Appreciate Best Ball on Call joining. Join down below. It does support the show directly. And, of course, allows me to keep doing what we're doing here. Hurts again. So Hurts at number 3, number 1, number 2, as well as we just read. Hurts, Kareem Hunt, Hollywood Brown in this one. Jake Elliott, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. So another Hurts double stack with a kicker there, fading Saquon. Here's a Saquon captain lineup here. We got Saquon and captain, Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown, Jake Elliott, Samaje Perine. So basically a playing from behind build here where Mahomes kind of fucked up, I guess. Kind of didn't get there. A little bit tough for him not to make it with 3 pass catchers, but I guess it's possible. Number 5, we have a Jake Elliott captain. Jake Elliott, Patrick Mahomes, A.J. Brown, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Pacheco. So this is what the solver thinks you need to win a large field tournament, is playing Eagles dominant stuff, Eagles pass game stuff, and that's exactly what I'm seeing. Shout out Chicken Cheesesteak Lover. Appreciate that. Thanks for all your insight this year. Def, the best rookie analyst on the YouTube machine. Go Birds. I appreciate that. And I think the big board's lost without me right now. I've given out my takes in a few streams, but if you guys draft the big board, I think you can see that they don't know what the fuck they're doing right now. So I appreciate the sentiment. And thank you for the super chat, Chicken Cheesesteak Lover. I do appreciate it. All right. A.J. Brown lineup here. We got A.J. Brown with Saquon, Pacheco, Eagles D, Noah Gray, Jalen Hurts. They're doing exactly what I thought they would do. It's funny because like I built it in a smaller tournament on Friday when we did our ETR part of things. And I was like, I'm surprised ETR isn't getting leverage on their own projections at all. now that we did the Millie Maker tournament, you're seeing here like what I think it takes to win a tournament today, which is like kind of fading the Chiefs. It's not like the Chiefs have a very good shot of winning, obviously, but like I think sometimes people need to divorce, like we talked about the idea of being comfortable building your lineups. Like really, your way to win a slate today is to not just play the Chiefs winning their third Super Bowl in a row. And doing it handily. And I think that's a really important thing to point out here. If you're going to take anything from this video, like that's what to take away from it. Captain Devontae Smith here in this lineup. A.J. Brown, Kareem Hunt, so a 5-1 Eagles build. Jake Elliott, Eagles D, and Jalen Hurts. So these ones, again, don't win often. You could see it with the graphs. Losing a lot. Losing a lot, but still winning a decent amount too. Maybe this one better than the others in terms of that balance, I guess. This one winning a little bit more, losing a little bit less because it's got Saquon and captain. But the point is really like you're seeing kind of exactly how Sims should work. So I got to say, there's nothing that unique about these lineups because they're straight off the fucking factory for a ETR. So keep that in mind. But yes, like that's the premise though. It's like, these are what you need to do to get unique here. Similarly, if you're going to play the Chiefs passing game, worthy captain with Saquon, Hollywood Brown, Butker, Elliott, Mahomes here. So you're getting 2 pass catchers, fading Kelsey. You're fading Jalen Hurts as well, which does make it a little bit uncomfortable. That's basically it. Mahomes captain lineup here that finishes well enough. We got Mahomes, Goddard, Elliott, Kelsey, Worthy, Hollywood Brown. So you're still playing the Mahomes mega stack, but you're leaving $2K in salary on the table to do it, and you're playing really lesser Eagles. So like, just keep in mind here, either if the Chiefs win normally with like Mahomes at captain and the usual Chiefs receivers and Saquon Barkley with it, that shit's getting duped like 1,000 times today. Like that is a guarantee. If you want to get a shot at a solo win or even a 10-person chop, a 20-person chop, it's playing more Eagles dominant stuff. So the main thing I would say right here to keep in mind, I think it's really obviously spelled out here. And if you don't get it, I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Thanks to Jackson here for the kind chat. Thanks for an awesome season. Spags, go Birds. I disagree with the second part. But, yes, the house here will be rooting for the Birds. The Spags of it all will be rooting for whatever lineup I have, which is the fun part too, where like, if I build a lineup that's like, let's say Chiefs dominant, and that sucks because I do want to play more Eagles today. Alex is going to root if I had a lineup that's live, like she'll root for whatever I like is going to make us money. So I can make her root against the Eagles if like things align correctly. So like fingers crossed that we can make that pull off. Your top ROI guys right now, according to these solver sims, Eagles ROI is the highest, 40% ROI at 14% exposure. So basically you're getting a high ROI here because it's direct leverage and all the Chiefs projection stuff we talked about. This is how everything comes together here. You're seeing it with this solver sim. So Eagles D probably doesn't hit as often as you'd like to have, but when it does hit and it hits in a meaningful way, you are getting so much direct leverage on everything that people are expecting in the game. We got Kareem Hunt here coming in at 39%. Same thing here. Getting direct leverage against the Chiefs passing game. The Chiefs passing game just projects too well naturally, and as a result, everybody's going to play it. So playing some different outcomes, that one at least captures still the Chiefs winning theoretically, or, scoring points. So Kareem Hunt, another high ROI play. Jake Elliott, another one, 39% for him. And then we're getting down a little bit more. Hollywood Brown, some other guys. So you're just, man, I think it's obvious what wins the field, what wins theoretically. I hope you guys are on the same page. Random, the Pillow Fight World Championships on ESPN News. So maybe they're trying to cater to people that are tired of hearing about the Super Bowl, I guess, would be how that would go from a programming standpoint. Who knows? But let's build these lineups out here. Stochastic stage of things next in our little Grand Prix. And guys, again, if you appreciate this content, super chats do go a long way here, really and truly. I appreciate it a bunch. But subscribing does go a long way as well. I'm just one guy here running an NFL channel, running an NBA channel, showing you guys my gambling here on stream every day, stuff that I'd be doing for myself. I don't know why I just built 250 lineups like an idiot. I meant to build 10,000. Please subscribe down below. We're on that slow march to 5K subs. It's not happening today. But please subscribe if you enjoy this content. And I will always make the promise here, as I do in every channel. I show up and do as much work as possible to be prepared here, to know that I'm not talking out my ass, not saying stupid shit. It's not rooted in reality. And that's a lot more than I think I could say for a lot of the content industry right now. That's not even calling anybody specifically. That's just the game right now. People just say shit with their throat and don't fucking know what they're talking about. I can tell you that I know what I'm talking about, and I put a lot of work in this, and I actually was a part of one of the Chiefs Super Bowl wins technically when I was at Football Outsiders. I had to deal with Mike, what's his name over there? I won't say his last name, but one of the coaches over there, and give them data every week. So I have a lot more bona fides than I give credit for. But please subscribe, do it. Shout out Michael here. Thank you for your work this year. Can't chat, but always listen. I appreciate it. Look, but not everybody has to be in chat. And the chat can be daunting, especially when I'm going to be rude to you half the time. But I appreciate all you guys who are here, whether you're watching, whether you're a lurker or you're in the chat. And of course, the journey marches on here. Please don't unsubscribe to the channel because DFS is over. Well, the reason I'm good at this stuff too is me obsessing over best ball in January, February, March, April, all that. Every time I jump on to watch the video, you're telling somebody to chat. Not today. Not today. But that's the point though. Is like this is a thing where if you don't come at me with good takes and good data, and not even good takes, like it just has to come from a place of like you've done the work and you come about something, you presented me something brilliant. Like I've listened to people a lot in my life. I've listened to like Pete more than anybody in the world, and like I don't think Pete's like the greatest football mind that's ever existed. And that's not to be a slight to Pete, but he knows some stuff really well that I didn't. Like best ball stuff, I learned so much from that guy. And even too, like approaching DFS in different ways too. So like it's important to listen to people that you know, like you believe in stuff. And in chat, I have our regulars who I believe in. Steven, Robert Griffin III, there's more of you guys I name. I'm not gonna name everybody. That's what work is, I think, hopefully. But I appreciate the kind words. And yes, I do tell people off in chat. It's the dynamic here. Never just going to suck up to get views. It's never going to be the way I approach things. Your top ROI lineup from Stochastic right now. It actually looks like the updated while we were doing the stream. So we got some fresh numbers here, some fresh sims. Dallas Goedert at captain. Harrison Butker. Jake Elliott, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Travis Kelce. So that's your number one ROI lineup right now. Number two, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, Harrison Butker, Hollywood Brown, Jake Elliott, Patrick Mahomes. We are still going to get a lot of Hollywood Brown, huh? Number three, Travis Kelce, AJ Brown, Chiefs D. We got Jake Elliott, Patrick Mahomes, Xavier Worthy. So you're getting another Chiefs dominant build here. Still a mix though, a 4-2 Eagles build, 3-3, 4-2 Chiefs. This one's a 5-1 Chiefs build. Mahomes, Butker, Hollywood Brown, Noah Gray, Saquon, and Worthy. Doesn't feel terribly unique for leaving 1,800 on the table, but I get where it's going. And number five, a Butker lineup, Harrison Butker, Jake Elliott. So two kickers. A lot of kickers in these top five. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy. So the Sims, I would say my initial assessment here, these new data points in the Sims want you to play more kickers, which they already did anyway, but you're getting a lot of Jake Elliott here, 4 of the top 5 lineups. And your one lineup without Jake Elliott, you're getting Harrison Butker. Then you're getting Butker and Elliott together in 3 out of the 5 lineups. So that's a lot of kickers here. Stochastic users today going to be playing a lot of kickers and not a lot of defenses seems to be the key observation. Finance channels have crypto bots. Spags channels take bots in there, except they're actual people, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it. Your top ROIs right now, this updated data. In terms of your flex plays, look at that first. Butker's your highest ROI guy. Justin Watson, number 2 at the flex. Dallas Goedert, number 3. Hollywood Brown, number 4. Kelce, number 5. Jake Elliott, number 6. Juju Smith-Schuster, number 7. As I always point out here, the negative ROI doesn't matter that much. It's about the accuracy, the directional accuracy of the sim, rather. So this is what Stochastic expects these guys to have the highest return for you in the top lineups that they've selected or that I've selected for them, top 150. Your highest ROI captains, Dallas Goedert, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Harrison Butker, Jake Elliott, AJ Brown, and Hollywood Brown in that order. So not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, they've got down here a lot. They got Jalen Hurts, the negative 29% ROI guy at captain. I disagree, but let's see. Exposures right now. I want to filter this. Are your top exposures? We're getting overall 54% Saquon Barkley in the flex, so an extra 13% ownership from the field for Saquon. So Saquon in the flex does seem like Stochastic putting a little vouch for him. That ownership does feel low, like Saquon 41% in the flex. Really think he gets played about 80% of lineups. If I had to guess, 60% in the flex, about 20% in captain. Mahomes 52% overall for Stochastic's top 150 lineups. Basically flat with the field, so not a fade on Mahomes, but definitely not a big stand in favor of him, or more than the field of him. Harrison Butker getting almost 2x in the flex. So it's a lot of Harrison Butker that you're getting. Again, Stochastic loves the kickers today, which is not a surprise. Travis Kelce, 46% compared to 36. So pro stand in favor of him. Dallas Goedert, 42% compared to 33. So another pro stand, almost 10% more on him. Hollywood Brown, 36% compared to 26. Also 10% more on him. And Jalen Hurts, you're getting about 10% less, 11% less for him in the flex. In terms of captain, you're getting Mahomes 25% of the time at captain. So they are saying, so interesting. So the solver basically gave you your direct leverage against Mahomes. So they gave you Eagles stuff. They gave you Eagles D. They gave you Eagles offense. That's where the solver went. Stochastic is going play more Mahomes, play the chalk, but probably try to get more unique on the chalk. So two different approaches here. I would favor the solver's approach. The Stochastic approach, you're running into a dupe fest, but they're giving you what they're giving you. Data's the data. Travis Kelce, 13% in captain compared to 9%, so a little bit in favor there. Goddard, almost double the field there at captain. Saquon Barkley, they have a 12%. I strongly agree. I think he gets closer to 20, as we talked about, but 12% here compared to 13. A.J. Brown, 11% compared to 10, so above the field on him. Harrison Butker, 7% at captain, so you're getting 7x to Harrison Butker. It's a pretty big stand. And Hollywood Brown, flat with the field at captain there. No big stands. Should we do a hand build one more time? We got new data. I'll try one more hand build here. I'm going to push towards another Jalen build, though, because that's still what I believe. But let's refresh this. What do I think about throwing a double D lineup? I think the odds of it winning are pretty low, as a double D usually is, but it's still worth a shot if you're playing like 150 or something. Thank you. One more handy. And much love from Canada. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it there. Shout out Canada. No tariffs being imposed by me here. You can be here for the same price as everybody else. All right. It's 20% to first today because it's a big tournament. Let's go over here. Most all hand builds have Juju. Why? I mean, to be clear, not most of all of your hand builds have Juju, and that's a personal choice you're putting them in. Mine won't. I mean, look, I'm going to build very similar to what I built the other day, I think. I think it's still, well, okay. I built a Jalen Hurts, I believe a Saquon fade last time out. Should I try to build one where we're getting Barkley still making it? Let's do that. Barkley still making it. Hurts still stealing something from him. You're so scared. Look, if you're gonna play Juju, I would take half those Juju lineups. If you're hand building stuff, make half of them into Hopkins lineups, would be my thought. I am gonna play Hopkins again here as well. Still believe in him at 4,400 with all the kicker chalk. I'm gonna put Hopkins in here. Stochastic's gonna penalize me for playing Hopkins. He gets a terrible projection. But again, this is the guy's first Super Bowl. He's been in the league for over 10 years. Team likes him as well. I think that Hopkins to be in the flex is a play that I will have above the field by a pretty good margin today. Don't think he's a lock or anything, but as I've said enough times here, I think Hopkins gets a charity case touchdown, which is not like a great data point, but like I think he gets a charity case touchdown. That's how I feel about it. Captain, I think Devontae Smith at captain feels right to me here. Devontae captain leaves us 6K per spot left. So we're fading AJ Brown, who I don't really want to fade, but for this build, let's give it a shot. Got to play something else in the Chiefs. I think Hunt in the flex will look okay here. $6,400 salary. Got 5,700 left. I think we're unique enough that we don't have to leave a crazy amount of salary on the table. If you're playing what feels like a chalky lineup, leave some salary on the table, get unique there. If Juju scores a long touchdown early, it's going to be a long 6. Nolan, I'm on the same page as you because I don't like. I'll play some Juju, I'm sure, but not a priority for me. All right, we got Hollywood Brown here, Pacheco, Butker, Elliott. The kicker feels right to me, so we go Butker. So Devontae Smith, Saquon, Hurts, Hopkins, Hunt, Butker. Okay, we got a large field term of 20% to first place. Here are the data points for we're putting in here to sim it out on. After this we'll look at some captains, and then we'll do some betting stuff. Negative 58%. You play Hopkins, it's just going to fucking dock you so much. All right. We don't play Hopkins. We play Jake Elliott. I bet it's going to think this lineup is so fucking sick, right? Though it also doesn't like Smith at captain, so maybe not. This build is Devontae Smith, Barkley, Hurts, Elliott, Hunt, Butker. The last one I had, there we go. So you swapped Hopkins to Elliott, and the ROI went up about 80%. Yeah, they really like kickers. Stochastic really wants you to play kickers, so keep that in mind here. Kicker is going to be a well-projected play that some of the sharpest people in the biz will be playing a good amount today. But this one is my final build here. Got unique with it. Different from Friday's build. We did it. All right, let's go back to the Stochastic sim here. If you have captain requests, put them in here. Don't make them too weird. Do I ever consider player histories in the case of Hopkins versus the Eagles? He destroys them. Sorry, I'm a noob. I wouldn't personally. The Eagles defense is entirely different than any time he's seen them in the past. I think Fangio defense is not remotely the same as any time they've ever played. And they also have different like there's so many reasons why you wouldn't care about that 1-to-1. But no, it's not a thing generally. Seize the day, King Chris. Thank you. I'll be seizing the day by taking a nap after this one because I've been on child duty for a week, and thankfully my mother-in-law's here today to help out in the morning until Pacheco gets back. Seems gross. Pacheco seems like huge leverage on Casey pass catchers, Hunt/P. Ryan. How much would you mix him in? Less than Hunt, but I think he's worth some. You run the shot, he can get back in there. The usage, though, does feel like it's moved away from him. And that said, he's also started poorly in a few games. So if he gets hot, I think he can win the role. The issue is like he hasn't played well enough to justify it. So you're taking on risk, but I think, yes, Hunt and Pacheco both are worth exposure today, in my opinion. No great captain, I really wouldn't play. I don't think there's any shot of that hitting, but we can look it up. Weird captains, I guess for Stochastic, this would qualify as weird. Jalen Hurts, a captain. You better be playing some Eagles ass-kicking kind of builds then, Eagles captains, whatever. P. Ryan's not going to get out there, I don't think, a ton unless they in a lot of third and long situations or they're behind. Yeah, look, P. Ryan is your top value, technically. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jake Elliott, Justin Watson, Saquon Barkley. So that is using all the salary, but getting more unique because you're playing a 5-1 build favoring Philly. As we talked about 90% of the top lineups, 95% of the top lineups, all are kind of Chiefs dominant or at least 3-3 builds. So keep that in mind in terms of projection plays. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. I would not expect 2 touchdowns, buddy. That's asking a lot for a guy who's barely playing. 1 touchdown is me asking too much already. 2 is you are wishing for the moon. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Harrison Butker, Juju Smith-Schuster, Saquon Barkley. And at number 3, we have Hurts, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Butker, P. Ryan, Barkley. Look, Dallas Goedert's been good. I would like this first lineup more. Getting Devontae in there, you're getting the best version of the Eagles stack. Putting Saquon as well feels tough. Playing only Watts from the Chiefs feels tough. But, I think that's pretty unique. Not great ROIs for Hurts lineups, though. I have to really point that out. They are not... Stochastic is not supporting a Hurts dominant kind of situation here. Captain contains who else? DeAndre Hopkins. This for fun. Nothing even close to a positive ROI. Would not go there. Kelsey captains. Kelsey, A.J. Brown, Chiefs, Jake Elliott, Mahomes, Worthy. Getting your kicker in there, getting Chiefs D in there. Nothing too crazy. Kelsey, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Eagles D, Jake Elliott, Saquon. These feel pretty doopy. Leaving only $100 on the table using all core players. I don't think you're getting clever enough here. Kelsey, Chiefs, Butker, Brown, Mahomes, Saquon. That's okay. These Kelsey lineups don't do a whole lot for me. This one may be more unique, leaving $1,700 on the table. Kelsey, Goddard, Butker, Juju, Mahomes, Saquon. I don't want to fade Hurts, but I think that build makes a little more sense. Stone, I think you're a little too locked in on the D-Hop thing. He's really not playing enough routes to be this focused on Hopkins. Again, I'm giving my bad take about him scoring a touchdown today because it's plus 650 for an anytime touchdown, and he's solo owned, but please don't make him the core of what you're doing. He'll be in your Eagles heavy for sure. Bart, there you go. Okay, good. Goddard too cheap equals mega chalk. The Goddard part that I'm worried about more so is people are going to click that, the casual players playing on a Super Bowl are going to click that name and see he's had 2 really good playoff games and think that he somehow has passed Devontae Smith in the pecking order. And I think that's where I'd rather play Devontae Smith and just pay more money to do it. Other lineups here, Worthy lineups. Not a lot of EV on Worthy. That's still enough here. 5 in the top 150. Worthy, Goddard, Butker, Elliott, Mahomes, Saquon. They expect to be duped 2 times, which probably means 10 to 20 times. Worthy, Goddard, Hollywood, Elliott, Mahomes, and Barkley using all 50K here. I don't think that's unique enough. Worthy, Eagles D, Hollywood, Hunt, Mahomes, Barkley. That doesn't feel unique enough either. I think you're running into a lot of dupes on these. Any Chief stuff, just feels like you're running into a lot of dupes. Say Barkley gets 152 touchdowns that make him a must as captain or flex in winning lineup. Probably, yeah. He would be the highest scorer, I would think, by a wide margin, unless you have A.J. Brown also putting up 150 and 2 touchdowns or something. Or if you think the Eagles score 6 touchdowns and Hurts puts up 1 passing, 3 rushing, then he'd probably beat that. But Yeah, that kind of performance would normally mean that he'd be your top performer. And honestly, then he would have a shot at winning MVP. But all right, we saw Butker lineups. So here's Butker captains because Stochastic really loved Butker captain. Butker, Jake Elliott, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Kelsey, Worthy. Butker, Chiefs D, Hunt, Mahomes, Barkley, Kelsey. Butker, Goddard, Hollywood Brown, Mahomes, Barkley, and Kelsey. Those don't feel unique enough. This one's okay, leaving 1,100. Still, I think that one can pass. You're playing a defense, the 5-1 build. I think that one can be unique enough. Jake Elliott lineups here to get your direct leverage. Got Jake Elliott, Hollywood Brown, Kareem Hunt, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon, and Kelsey. Elliott, Goddard, Butker, Mahomes, Barkley, and Kelsey. Elliott, Butker, Hunt, Mahomes, Barkley, Kelsey. Tell you what, a field goal fest lineup does feel kind of nice. That does look pretty good. Stochastic people are going to be well representing the kicker-heavy builds, but kicker-heavy builds, I think, look kind of clean. Kicker making it captain is tough, but just with the expectations like of everything being scoring and everybody's going to try to play every like touchdown, heavy spin on things. Even my Jalen Hurts, Eagles pass game stuff, people are going to get to. It really does kind of feel like the kickers could be important. This exercise makes me think that you need 4 or 5 Philly to get different enough to win and not dupe a ton. That's how I feel, Donnie. That's what I've been saying and seeing it now kind of through all the sim lineups. I would agree more. Anybody else that you guys want to look at here? I think we've looked at some of the key guys. Here's Devontae lineups if he did somehow hit a captain. Devontae with Goddard, Eagles, Hurts, Hunt, Saquon. So you're fading A.J. Brown there. If you're playing Smith at captain, I'd probably want to fade one of A.J. Brown and Goddard at the least. Number 2, getting Devontae Smith, Butker, Jake Elliott, Jalen Hurts, Kareem Hunt, Saquon Barkley. Number 3, Devontae Smith, Goddard, Butker, Hollywood Brown, Hurts, and Saquon Barkley. Not leaving a lot of salary on the table, but people just aren't going to play Devontae Smith enough. Like, I strongly believe that here. The injury stuff, the fact that he hasn't had like a playoff must-have game. I think Devontae Smith would say he's your skeleton key, but like if he hits, I think he wins you the money at captain. Goddard captains, I feel like we've kind of seen already, but your top ROI lineup we saw already. Number 2 is Goddard, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jake Elliott, Hurts, Travis Kelsey. Goddard, Devontae Smith, Butker, Hurts, Mahomes, Worthy. Goddard at captain is okay. He's low owned enough to take the shot. I think he'll get played a good amount in the flex. I think a captain probably have to get some there. For the record today, I'm playing, I think, 5 to 10 entries in the Millie Maker. I'm doing the mini max and I'm doing the play action. So that's going to be my haul. And I'll have probably about 200 lineups between everything today. A little bit less than that. All right. What else? What else do we have to look at here? Who's unique? A.J. Brown, obviously. I guess, well, this will get us Hollywood. Let's get A.J. A.J. Brown, Eagles D, Hollywood Brown, Jake Elliott, Saquon, Kelsey. Just not enough salary left on the table. I think Stochastic does a great job with their Sims tool. The one thing I'd critique them for is like I think they don't actually represent the dupes count well enough here. Like leaving $200 on the table for an A.J. Brown captain lineup, I just don't think is enough here. I don't think it's a zero dupe lineup. A.J. Brown, Chiefs D, Goddard, Hollywood Brown. I guess because you faded Mahomes is why they think it would be. I still don't think that's enough. But A.J. Brown, Chiefs D at number 2, Goddard, Hollywood, Hurts, Mahomes. Weird they're getting so much Hollywood and A.J. Brown together. And A.J. Brown, Dallas Goddard, Eagles D, Butker, Hurts, and Kelsey. You just saw a kicker high ROI lineup. So no, not a bad idea. On a showdown for Super Bowl especially, like in particular, not a bad idea. You don't want to make every lineup you're doing a kicker lineup. Like if you're in a single entry, it's a little bit tough to do that. But that's that. And last but not least, what else do we have left? You've looked at the kickers, you've looked at Devontae, you've looked at A.J. Brown. We'll look at Hollywood just for fun. So Spags from Cabo. Watch the games today at the resort and entries are already placed. There you go. Oh, not Holly Wolf. That'd be his name if you were on BoJack Horseman. Holly Wolf Brown. No, shout out Humboldt watching from Cabo. Hope it's good weather for you. Hope you're having a good time. Holly, get some margaritas. Please get a margarita on your pal Spags' behalf. I'm sure it's really difficult to do in Cabo. Hollywood Brown, A.J. Brown, ideally frozen would be nice, with some salt in the rim. Dallas Goddard, Eagles D, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley. Number 2, Hollywood Brown, A.J. Brown. The Brown boys sticking together in all these lineups. Patrick Mahomes, Samaje Perine, Saquon Barkley, Kelsey. I don't know what kind of build you're getting there with Perine, Kelsey, and Hollywood Brown hitting. I knew I could trust you to complete that easy task, Humboldt. Hollywood Brown, Dallas Goddard, Devontae Smith, Harrison Butker, Patrick Mahomes, and Saquon Barkley. That one's kind of fun. Leaving 1,700 on the table. Feels a little bit like a playing from behind kind of build here where Goddard, Devontae Smith, Saquon did their work. maybe kick some field goals early. The Hollywood Brown lineup's a captain. He's going to get played so much in the flex. I don't hate it. Anybody else that he requests a captain? That's weird. I feel like I've thought of everybody I would play. Defense captain, not the most likely. Eagles D, barely popping up the top 150, but Eagles with A.J. Brown, Chiefs D, Devontae Smith, Hurts, Barkley. Eagles, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Hollywood, Hurts, Saquon. Eagles, A.J. Brown, Chiefs D, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, Xavier Worthy. Chiefs D. You got Chiefs with A.J. Brown. Two of these made the top 150. So Chiefs D will be played a little bit more captain, I would guess, than Eagles D will. Chiefs D, A.J. Brown, Hollywood Brown, Kareem Hunt, Mahomes, Saquon. Chiefs D, Butker, Mahomes, Saquon, Kelsey, Worthy. Just getting everybody in there. That's going to be duped. Chiefs D, Goddard, Hunt, Mahomes, Saquon, Kelsey. That one, leaving some money on the table, playing a weird captain. That's just the way to do it for Showdown. Swifties will be crying tonight. Eagles roll the Chiefs. Ugh, I don't know. Juju captain, sure. Hollywood was a contact name for a fat. That's funny. All right, we'll look at Juju and Hunt, and that'll be it for us. Juju, though, really don't play him at captain for the love of God. Two in your top 150. Juju, Brown, A.J. Brown, that is, Butker, Mahomes, Saquon, and Kelsey. Juju, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey. Juju, A.J. Brown, Butker, Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Saquon. I don't know. If I get one naturally that is a top ROI lineup for Stochastic and ETR, I'll play it, but I really can't imagine playing Juju as captain by choice. Kareem Hunt, I could play by captain's choice, or captain by choice. Kareem Hunt, Dallas Goedert, Harrison Butker, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Kelsey. Kareem Hunt, Butker, Elliott, Hurts, Barkley, Worthy. This just doesn't feel unique enough yet. Hunt, Butker, Hollywood, Hurts, Mahomes, Kelsey. Fading Saquon in this one. I guess you were in the first one too. First one, though, I still think that's what somebody would get on without Saquon. This one, I think you're getting a little bit closer away by being $600 off. The Hunt captains don't feel as unique as I would have thought. This one leaves 1,000. Hunt, Brown, Goddard, Butker, Mahomes, Kelsey. It's hard for me to imagine Hurts not making a lineup. Anyway, that's really one of my biggest beliefs here. I think Hurts makes a lineup too. All right, last step on our journey. We fulfilled the obligations for the DFS sims. Let's go to Unabated one more time and see what we get on their Super Bowl tools. And, of course, I love Unabated. Great partner for my NBA channel. Let me log in here to my non-admin account because they do give me that very kindly. Lineups without Barkley don't feel good. That's the point. that's the point of the exercise, boys. So if you're going to play, you're not going to play Saquon. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but that's why you do it. All right. Let's see. Somebody wanted underdog props. So your biggest thing to look on this underdog or this unabated screen right now, this is basically every Super Bowl bet rolled into one spot here. What you want to see is where there are differentials. So technically an under on Saquon would be a good bet here because you can see that underdog has it priced. Underdog slappies for underdog bet. Like just fucking, they love Saquon so much in underdog. 114.5 is your line in underdog pick'em. It's 112.5 on Prize Picks, 111 on DraftKings, 109.5 on FanDuel. So under on Saquon 114.5. Even you don't even need a sim for that. Like that's just good EV right now. Besides that, I'm going to highlight a few ones here as we go. Your FanDuel line. So FanDuel, it seems like, is leaning towards the lower lines on everything. So if you're playing FanDuel Sportsbook, if that's your primary sportsbook, looking more at overs, like you'd probably want Saquon over 109.5. You'd probably want Mahomes over 28.5 rushing yards here. These are just mispriced. And this is what you should be doing for betting. Like, this is not the most fun way to bet in the world, but like legit, some of the best bettors that I've known in the space, especially before like a lot of the market establishing tools would be there. You're just looking for differentials in price. So like here we could see you got 24, 23.5 just went down from Mahomes passing completions, 24.5 here. So you see that there's an over 24 and over 24.5. You'd probably want to take the FanDuel over 23.5 here because that line's just a little bit inefficient compared to the other guys. You are giving up a little more juice there, so that wouldn't be a perfect analogy, but one way to use the unabated Super Bowl tool here besides just kind of simming stuff out. That Saquon underdog line, though, is definitely the biggest discrepancy there for the under on 114.5. The other ones seem pretty flat. Receiving yards, value on the under on prize picks for Saquon here. It's an underdog as well. Your pick'em sites seem like they're about 1 yard off for the pick'ems. So take under 14.5 receiving yards for underdog, or lower rather for underdog. And for prize picks, the under there as well. Because on DraftKings and FanDuel, it's 13.5. This isn't like perfect for the record, but this is sort of one way to do this. For a market like the Super Bowl where the prices are pretty tight. Kelsey, 61.5 is the line on DraftKings and FanDuel. Your pick'em sites have it at 62.5. Taking the under on Kelsey, under 62.5 would be logical to do there. AJ Brown, same price everywhere. Besides FanDuel, taking the over on FanDuel would look good. FanDuel really juiced everything a little bit lower today. That's weird. I wonder why that is. Probably knowing FanDuel and DraftKings both, they always have a logic for why they price things where they do. But they're just low. A lot of overs for FanDuel. Including this one, Dallas Goedert taking his over on 50.5. It's at 51.5 on DraftKings. Underdog, you could also take the over 50.5 for Goddard. It's 52.5 on prize picks. You're getting about 2 yards of value here for the 50.5 on underdog and FanDuel. It's so funny, like, this is like what betting content practically like what it should be for the most part, because I know like not that I'm saying this is so great and like, wow, what compelling content, but like in reality, just yelling out bets and stuff is not really the way you want to bet. These little minor micro edges are really the way that you should be betting for everything. And I'm not saying that because like we're shilling for unabated right now. And I am shilling for unabated. $30 off, use unabated, get betting data in your life that'll actually help you win money as opposed to just holding your finger to the wind and going, that's how this pick'em should go. It's a big part of things. But really, like, just seeing those minor discrepancies over and over again. Like for FanDuel here, they're up on tackles. You should probably take under 8.5 tackles for Nick Bolton because it's 7.5 on DraftKings. This is what real betting is. This is real racing, guys. That's what we're doing right now. Underdog killing a lot of pick'em lines right now. They have inefficient. Longest pass completion for Hurts under 34.5 would look okay in underdog, or lower 34.5 yards look good in underdog. But this is it. This is the entire market, guys. This is everything. I'm scrolling through. If you want to pause the screen, you can. I mean, any touchdown EV here? Let's look at that. People love anytime. Or this is first scorer. Do we care about first scorer? I feel like first scorer is kind of a sucker's market, even though people hit on it enough that you think it isn't. Flat lines for first scorer for the most part. FanDuel, though, ripping you off. FanDuel ripping you off on a lot of bets today. It is so rare to see DraftKings be softer pricing pretty much across the board, but they are approaching it differently today. Last to score, no real juice. Give me an anytime. Do we have... I'm going to control F anytime here. No, not an A time. Here we go. All right, your anytime touchdown scores. Any EV here? You're getting EV on FanDuel for all of these, it seems like. Saquon at minus 190, Hurts at minus 120. Everybody else is plus money. Hunt plus 150 on FanDuel is actually a pretty favorable line for an anytime touchdown there. If you're going to bet that, I would bet that on FanDuel. Worthy, flat on both. Devontae Smith, more advantageous on DraftKings, plus 250 compared to plus 230. Hollywood Brown, better on FanDuel and Fanatics, it looks like. Goddard, best on BetMGM by a wide margin, plus 333 for his anytime touchdown. And also better on FanDuel than it is on DraftKings. Again, I know this is the most exciting, guys, but I'm just highlighting everything I'm seeing here. Plus 410 on Mahomes for a rushing anytime TD. That looks really cheap on FanDuel compared to plus 295 on DraftKings. Pacheco at plus 369 compared to plus 265 on DraftKings, so rather plus 360 on FanDuel. That looks pretty good. That's so weird. So FanDuel's just mispriced, I think. Like, they weren't trying to juke lines down, because if they were trying to juke lines down, their anytime touchdowns wouldn't be this soft. But Hopkins was at plus 650 on BetMGM earlier. Now the best line's plus 550, but I did take that earlier in the week. I went in my props column. Juju plus 600. If you want to do that, better than plus 500. Samaje Perine plus 1,400. Long shots I would take. I would consider taking Dotson at plus 1,600. Gainwell plus 1,400 here. You're not really getting any EV on Dotson, but that's the kind of guy that gets you a bullshit one Super Bowl touchdown. I mean, much like Hopkins does, but for different reasons. Like Dotson would get it because the Chiefs are so focused on stopping Brown and Smith and Barkley, and it's like Dotson's just wide open on a play. Can absolutely happen. Cooper DeJean, if you guys like him and you're in Florida, that's your best bet right now to take him. Looks like defensive anytime touchdowns are only on Hard Rock. Weird. Anyway, those are your bets right now, guys. Check out the chats. Cared about your first score. Thank you. All right. And nobody else fun down here. Kyrie Blossom game plus 7,000. I didn't even know he was on one of these teams. That's what you get. Peyton Hendershot, by the way, if you wonder why he is not to be played very much in DFS, he is a plus 6,000 anytime touchdown, but still good EV on DraftKings compared to plus 3,600 on FanDuel. Anyway, that's that. Anything else I can give you guys EV on here? Real fast. Sim prop lines. We use market data. Market-based projections. And then good here. No EV on rushing yards that matters. A little bit of EV on Mahomes over 23.5 pass completions at minus 132 odds on FanDuel. But again, the EV is going to be bled out at this point of the week for the most part with these bets, so just keep that in mind. Hendershot anytime touchdown bets will keep DK solvent for months. You got to wonder like what the actual count of people is that bet these like really like no chance on hell shots. And yeah, when they win, you hear about it on social media. But when you lose, you don't. Nothing plus EV for passing yards with the Sims. And we're using market-based projections from unabated here. A little bit of EV on Dallas Goedert under 5 receptions today on Prize Picks. 1.9% EV. A little bit of EV on Juju Smith-Schuster over 1.5 today. Not really enough to like bet like you're going crazy on, but 1% or higher EV just to have some expected value is sort of what we're looking at here. Receiving yards bets, going to simming off of the market-based projections. Big EV on Jahan Dotson over 3.5 receiving yards. 4.9% EV for that. Under 13.5 receiving yards gets you 2.8% EV for Saquon. That's minus 104 odds on DraftKings. Also okay on Prize Picks and underdogs we talked about here. Again, just mispriced lines for Saquon today is under on receiving yards. Rushing attempts. No sim EV for rushing attempts and rushing yards. Oh, we already looked at this one. No sim EV for rushing yards via unabated. Again, check the data later today. Maybe some things will move around in the markets if you want. But check out unabated. What we just did here for NFL, you could do every day for every sport if you wanted. NBA, college basketball, NHL, even stuff like golf, WNBA, MLB. They have it all for you in unabated. So check it out for yourself. It's a great tool. One last call to action, guys, and I'll give you sort of a little summary, I guess, of things. Please make sure to subscribe down below with the like and leave a comment. I've been doing these videos now for, I believe, 23 weeks is how long the season's been. Of course, NFL videos every week here on Splash Play, most of the year, every single weekday. It's been a long haul for the season, but guys, I do this because I love it. I do it because I like getting things right, and I get things right a lot more than I get things wrong, and that is a promise here on Splash Play every day. So I'm going to at least try my best every day to keep getting more things right than I get wrong, showing you guys the data, showing you at least what an angle is, try to win. And look, for the most part, just play projections. You want to play the fucking chalk, play a shitload of Chiefs, play Saquon, call it a day. But reality, we're just trying to find an edge for ourselves here where I'm like you, I'm not putting in 1,000,000 entries in a given day. Yeah, today I'm putting in almost 200, but it's a lot less than a lot of people out there. They're spending a lot of money on things. The goal here is to make the most of everything we do here every day in the NFL and NBA on the Splash Play NBA channel. That's all I can ever promise you here. So please appreciate all you guys who come along for the ride. And if you're new here, know that you're in the best hands you possibly can be, because I get sick from being wrong about stuff. Quite literally, I hate being fucking wrong about things. You got underdog, $1,000 in bonus cash. Of course, your no sweat entry, big thing on there. Check them out. They've been doing a great job all year in the world of drafting, of course, for us here. But the pick'em stuff is a great thing to have for yourself. I can't play them in Pennsylvania, but you guys should take advantage of it. No sweat entry. You get it back in bonus credit. If you check out Underdog today and use that promo code SPLASH for a $1,000 deposit match, or less too. Some of the other sites out there, by the way, which I saw, like the gaming guys, that Nick Merckx guy, they say like win $1,000. Like, and it's like, that's a fucking, can't say that, but maybe I should say that too. Win $1,000 free with Underdog. But it's just a deposit match. You put in $1,000, get 1,000 back. It's a really good deal. If you actually know gambling and you're not maybe doing a little bit sketch. Stochastic, 15% off. Sports the show directly. Link in the description for all their data and tools. Not just NFL as well. Get it for the NBA, get it for golf, get it for NASCAR, MMA, whatever you want. And Unabated, you just saw here, really a great tool here. Serious bettors use it. If you want to take things more seriously, use a tool like Unabated for yourself and check it out. And the Solver, why not? Check it out too. And shout out to paying members as well. You too can join down below for $4.99. All right, takeaways for today. Number one is that you play more Eagles, you're going to get more unique. That's really the main thing here. Like if you play the Eagles pass game more, you'll have your best shot at winning money. Doesn't mean the Eagles pass game are a lock to crush today. I do think, as I mentioned in my Friday premium video for the paying members, I think the matchup fits Philadelphia a little bit more than people realize. I think that the Chiefs offense is going against an Eagles defense that has been one of the better ones in the league this year and has also gotten good. Pretty much every facet the Chiefs are good enough to certainly overcome. But like it's going to be a tough matchup for the Chiefs. It's, I think, going to be a little bit less tough for the Eagles. So to me, that's my biggest stand here is like play some more Hurts, play, if you're going to play Saquon, play him creatively. But Mahomes stacks come up too easily. Mahomes is worthy. Mahomes with Kelsey. Those guys with Saquon just going to be played a ton. So like your way to win the most money today is to try to play. If you're going to play that uniquely, leave money on the table, play some low owned guys, whatever. And if you're not going to play that, then I think you're just going to get on a more unique pathway to first place. Besides that, I still do think DeAndre Hopkins scores a touchdown today. I'll die on that hill. Still don't think he's like a put in every lineup play, but I'm sure I will be above the field today on DeAndre Hopkins because I think he does get a kind of make-a-wish touchdown today for himself as a vet who the team likes. They brought in. He's had also as many end zone targets as anybody in the league since he got traded to the Chiefs. That's where that comes in for me. Besides that, playing more Chiefs running backs, more Hunt, whether it's Hunt or Pacheco. I'd favor Hunt, but Pacheco probably gets first crack at it. And if he plays well, he'll get a shot at doing it again. I think that's it. I think that's sort of how I view it. And also kickers seem like a very good play according to Stochastic. But you get more leverage on them by playing some defenses too. But the kickers to me, I think going to be played a lot by Stochastic users today. And they're worth playing, but just be mindful of it. And that's that. The Alt Hopkins lines were juicier this week. I agree. Now the receiving yards are better too. And Alt Barkley receiving yards are going up, it seems. Oh, interesting. Well, I don't know. The unders look good numerically, I think, all week. Great season, a newer, diverse journey for 2025 goes full speed Tuesday. Yes, I'll be back on Tuesday. They're going to sleep in tomorrow, call it a day, unless something crazy happens in the Super Bowl and I feel like I need to talk about it. But otherwise, I'll be back on Tuesday. Big board season officially commencing here. We've done a few drafts, but that's how the pathway is going to go. Thank you guys for a great year. Hope you have good luck one more time. Shout out to everybody here for hanging out. And make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though, oh, wait, where's the fucking thing? Gamble responsibly, guys, even though it's always money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. Follow its NBA sibling at Splash Play NBA. And I'll be back on Tuesday for the big board. I'll see you guys again soon. Hop in the Discord if you have any stuff throughout the day. I'm sure I'll pop in there at some point. And enjoy your days, guys. Good luck and enjoy the Super Bowl. See you soon. Bye-bye.